Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D-Real coming at you with another Be Real with D-Real, where edutainment is what I do. Can't get through the weekend without some kind of controversy, some kind of drama, some kind of conflagration in some way, shape, or form. And it's no different this weekend. Now we got people beefing about Cleopatra's lineage and whether she was African or whether she was Egyptian or whether she was this or whether she was that. Okay, I've been sitting around, better part of this morning, kind of researching and looking for and at things. And I saw something that had something to do with the upcoming Netflix documentary about Cleopatra and the actress that portrays her and how they feel about the situation. I'm gonna drop that on you and I'm gonna let you come to your own conclusions. But I'm gonna just, like I do with the receipts and everything else, I'm gonna just throw out them key questions and you answer those key questions for yourself. That's what we're gonna do today for this video. Now, before we get all off into that though, as always, I need y'all to do what you always do for your man and them. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D-Real page so that when the material comes out, you get it. If you're digging what a brother shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. All of this. All right. Social issue. Definitely a social issue. Definitely a Hollywood-related issue. I'm just putting that in my head for editing purposes later, but let's peep out this article. Okay, this story comes to us courtesy of Variety. Queen Cleopatra director speaks out. What bothers you so much about a Black Cleopatra? It is more likely that Cleopatra looked like our actor than Elizabeth Taylor ever did. And Elizabeth Taylor ain't the only white woman who done played Cleopatra. It's been a mess of them, y'all. Last summer, I was living in Venice Beach and had decided, due to a friend's persistence, to visit a fortune teller. Me, ever the skeptic but game for a laugh, agreed to go along. What the fortune teller said made me roll my eyes. I am not saying you are Cleopatra, but somehow you share her story and are connected. Less than a month later, I got a call from a production company making Jada Pinkett Smith's African Queens and was subsequently hired to direct 4 episodes of a drama documentary on the life of a controversial leader. The joke was on me. I remember as a kid seeing Elizabeth Taylor play Cleopatra. I was captivated, but even then, I felt the image was not right. Was her skin really that white? With this new production, could I find the answers about Cleopatra's heritage and release her from the stranglehold that Hollywood had placed on her image? Born in Iran, I am Persian, and Cleopatra's heritage has been attributed at one time or another to the Greeks, the Macedonians, and the Persians. The known facts that her Macedonian Greek family, the Ptolemaic lineage, which you hear everybody bring up all the time, intermarried with the West Asians, Seleucid dynasty, and had been in Egypt for 300 years. How long? Had been in Egypt for 300 years. Do you look exactly the same as the people who birthed you 300 years ago, especially if they was from another continent? Cleopatra was 8 generations away from those Ptolemaic ancestors, making the chance of her being white somewhat unlikely. After 300 years, surely we can safely say Cleopatra was Egyptian. She was no more Greek or Macedonian than Rita Wilson or Jennifer Aniston. Both are one generation from Greece. Do I need to go on? Sure, let me go on for a little more. Doing the research, I realized what a political act it would be to see Cleopatra portrayed by a Black actress. For me, the idea that people had gotten it so incredibly wrong before historically, from Theda Bara to Monica Bellucci, and recently with Angelina Jolie and Gal Gadot in the running to play her, meant we had to get it even more right. The hunt was on to find the right performer to bring Cleopatra into the 21st century. Note, by the way, this woman has expressively Persian look to her. Look at that as kind of a springboard. I'm not saying perfectly or exactly, but those features. That is, by the way, director Tina Garavi is her name. Remember that. Why shouldn't Cleopatra be a melanated sister? And why do some people need Cleopatra to be white? Her proximity to whiteness seems to give her value, and for some Egyptians, it seems to really matter. After much hand-wringing and countless auditions, we found in Adele James, an actor who could convey not only Cleopatra's beauty, but also her strength. What the historians can confirm is that it is more likely Cleopatra looked like Adele than Elizabeth Taylor ever did. Soak that in, soak that in, soak it in, soak it in, soak it in. Sorry, not sorry. As production got near, I realized the magnitude and political nature of this job. It was important to get things right, but also to find a way of telling the story with humanism and nuance. The last thing we needed was another Cleopatra divorced from her womanhood and her power over sexualized. The HBO series Rome portrayed one of the most intelligent, sophisticated, and powerful women in the world as a sleazy, dissipated drug addict. Yet Egypt didn't seem to mind. Where was the outrage then? But portraying her as Black? Well, perhaps it's not just that I've directed a series that portrays Cleopatra as Black, but that I have asked Egyptians to see themselves as Africans, and they are furious at me for that. I am okay with this. While shooting, I became the target of a huge online hate campaign. Egyptians accusing me of blackwashing and stealing their history. Some threatened to ruin my career, which I wanted to tell them was laughable. I was ruining it very well for myself, thank you very much. No amount of reasoning or reminders that Arab invasions had not yet happened in Cleopatra's age seemed to stem the tide of ridiculous comments. Amir, in his bedroom in Cairo, wrote to me to earnestly appeal that Cleopatra was Greek. Oh, Lord. Why would that be a good thing to you, Amir? You're Egyptian. So Cleopatra was Black? We don't know for sure, but we can be certain she wasn't white like Elizabeth Taylor. We need to have a conversation with ourselves about colorism and the internalized white supremacy that Hollywood has indoctrinated us with. Most of all, we need to realize that Cleopatra's story is less about her than it is about who we are. It's almost as if we don't realize that misogynoir, oh God, there's that word, still has an effect on us today. We need to liberate our imaginations and boldly create a world in which we can explore our historical figures without fearing the complexity that comes with their depiction. I am proud to stand with Queen Cleopatra, a reimagined Cleopatra, and with the team that made this. We reimagine a world over 2,000 years ago where there was once an exceptional woman who ruled. I would like to draw a direct line from her to the women in Egypt who rose up in Arab uprisings, and to my Persian sisters who are today rebelling against a brutal regime. Never before has it been more important to have women leaders, white or black. Queen Cleopatra debuts on Netflix on May 10th. Garavi is a BAFTA and Sundance nominated filmmaker. Her debut, I Am Nasreen, was nominated for a BAFTA in 2013. Her next feature documentary, Tribalism is Killing Us, which resulted from visiting Angola State Prison, will release later this year. Garavi teaches filmmaking around the world and was rewarded an MIT fellowship. She was elected into BAFTA in 2017. Okay, she does not sound as if she's not qualified to bring this story to us. I'll be watching for this this documentary coming up May 10th in Netflix. Now, okay, I need to read something to y'all real quick, like, and then I'll let you go, and y'all can, make your assessments from there. But I don't get how people don't get that a lot of times the things you think and believe and ideals you're standing behind are sometimes the result of brainwashing. I'm gonna do this for you real quick because I could find actresses who portray. We just want about ranker. This is courtesy of Ranker. I think my boy Theo sent this to me. Okay, look here. The best actresses who play Cleopatra rank. Y'all already know that Hollywood has brainwashed y'all to believe that the greatest performance of Cleopatra was done by a white woman. Okay? Here we go. Number 1, Elizabeth Taylor. Knew that was coming. Okay. Number 2, Vivian Leigh. That's the woman who portrays Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. Number 3, Monica Bellucci. She's Italian. Okay. She portrayed Cleopatra, an Italian Cleopatra. Okay. While she is indeed a beautiful woman, she ain't a Cleopatra. Far from it. Sophia Loren. Is that 4 white women? Let's go for 5. Ooh, she's Chilean. Leonor Varela. That's the chick who played Princess Nissa in the second Blade movie. Remember her? Now, while she does indeed have an exotic look to her, that's better than the first 4. Not quite what we're looking for, but on the right track. Claudette Colbert, Theda Bara, Virginia Mayo, Florence Lawrence, Pascal Petit. All Caucasian women who have portrayed Cleopatra. Linda Crystal, Rhonda Fleming, Magali Noel, Jean Dialci, Amanda Berry, Hildegard Neal, and the list goes on and on. Why are we not upset about this? You done had a throng of Caucasian women portray Cleopatra, and you ain't saying nothing about them. You ain't bringing that to the forefront. You're not bringing to the forefront the fact that the vast majority of women who have played a queen of Egypt are Caucasian. Has the world truly been brainwashed to believe that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman is able to portray a woman who, at best, should be Middle Eastern to sub-Saharan African? That's the tonnage she should be in, especially for the region she's in. But we get blue-eyed, blonde-haired women, but they put on black wigs, and we supposed to believe. There you go. But nobody's upset about that. Nobody's calling for somebody's head over that. Egyptian government. Have y'all seen the Cleopatra movie? Have y'all seen the women who depict Cleopatra in those movies? You should be a trifle more upset about that than you are about this woman who's portraying Cleopatra. It's closer to what she, just like they've been saying, it's closer to what she looks like than what y'all have ever used to depict her. Elizabeth Taylor ain't even close. She ain't even in the neighborhood. And if she is, she's 300 years removed from Cleopatra's generation. It only takes mixing one Asian or African person in that mix to turn that whole mix into what it never was before. But ain't nobody stopped to consider that. Oh, the Ptolemaic line ended 300 years before Cleopatra was born. I don't look like nobody that birthed me 300 years ago, because we know Massa was tipping and dipping. Right? Oh, not you pure black folks. Then we ain't talking about you pure black folks. We ain't talking about Zulu Maasai 100% in your blood. We ain't talking about that. We talking about the rest of us that were spread out across the world with that world famous boat ride. And then we go even further back, a couple, 2,000-3,000 years to Cleopatra's time, where people were mixing races anyway. And if it's a mixed race, it ain't finna to be all white. Sorry, not sorry. Deal with it, people who so badly want Cleopatra to be a Caucasian woman. She's not. And if we just gonna make an issue about nationality, Egypt, at the end of the day, is within the borders of Africa. I'm gonna say that one more time for the people that want to argue the point. Egypt is within the borders of Africa. Therefore, anyone who lives within the borders of Africa can be referred to as Africans. So when we say African queen, we're referring to the continent that queen was on, Africa. If I lived in Puerto Rico all my life and I became president, I would be a Puerto Rican president. Why do we have a problem with that? Because all of that lines up so perfectly and we don't want it to? It ain't got nothing to do with who was associated with what. If we're talking about the facts, those, ladies and gentlemen, are the facts, and they are undisputable. West Asian. What's in West Asia? Saudi Arabia. The countries referred to as Persian. Are those people blonde-haired and blue-eyed? But no. If those people converge on Egypt the same time as the Greeks, and those are in Egypt at the same time, you're gonna get a mix. And that mix takes place in Africa. Africans, deal with it. Geographically, African. More than likely, culturally Egyptian, but Egypt is in Africa. And I am sure aspects of African culture have filtered into Egypt, just like aspects of other cultures filter into countries and become a part of them. What part of that don't make no sense? What part of that sounds like a lie? Come on, y'all. Y'all wasting y'all energy arguing about dumb shit. Okay? So let's come together, move forward from that point. All right? Love y'all. Y'all have a lovely one. I will be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, yo, y'all be good. Be good to each other. Know your history.